Hi, this is Bill Smith from Trek Geeks, and you're listening to 5 Year Mission, the podcast. I don't know why, but you are. So there's that.
Coconut. 5 Year Mission, the podcast, episode 33.
This episode of 5 Year Mission, the podcast, is brought to you by Fansets, your home for all things pop culture pin related. Head over to fansets.com and see all that they have to offer. And also stay tuned at the end of the episode for a very special offer from us here at 5 Year Mission.
By now you figured out that this is the 5 Year Mission podcast.
Welcome to another edition of 5 Year Mission, the podcast, the only podcast hosted by a band called 5 Year Mission, where we talk about Star Trek and we talk about the band 5 Year Mission, which is us. Joining me tonight, per usual, whenever you hear my voice first, I got Mike Rittenhouse from 5 Year Mission sitting in Hero House Comics.
How you doing?
Wow, you're always super duper enthusiastic before we start the show, and then you just shut down.
I have a character to maintain.
Oh, okay. Anyway, this is an idea I have had for a while, since even before the podcast started, where I wanted to start having comedians on the show, and I would give them 3 choices of episodes to watch. I've always hoped that it would be someone that doesn't know too much about Star Trek, and our first comedian guest, it's a dead ringer for it. So yeah, he ticks that box especially. This is a comedian. He has a brand new album out called Joe Bates by Joe Bates. He's also a writer for the Bob and Tom Show, Sirius XM Radio, and he also has a podcast which I'm still hoping for a season 2 of, called Entertainment Federation Wrestling. So welcome our guest, Mr. Joe Bates.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Andy. And thank you for the warm round of applause, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's good. Everything. I mean, I really want to bring back EFW too, but it's just tough getting all 3 of us together. We've got season 2 planned out.
Ooh, storylines.
We just have to record it. We've got all the kind of arcs we want to do.
Oh man. I can't, what I'm really waiting for is to see if Guy with a Gun has finally upgraded.
Oh yeah, I think he kind of takes a step back in season 2, because there really is only so many jokes you can do with a guy with a gun.
That's true. No other name, just Guy with a Gun.
Yeah, yeah, he's good.
And Bear, of course.
Yeah, Bear. But
Bear's
no, yeah,
dead, isn't he?
if you're listening to this, yeah, I would check out EFW. Well, Bear is, I think Bear is officially in canon dead.
Okay. As long as it's canon.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on the podcast. I don't know if I appreciate you making me watch this episode, but
oh yeah, sure. All right. Here's the thing I gave to Joe. I can't remember my third one off the top of my head, but I gave him the 2 of the choices that I gave him were either abandoned lizard babies or and everyone knows exactly what episode I'm talking about when I say that. And also Florida man gets pregnant, and Joe, of course, went ahead and chose Threshold.
So you didn't say lizard baby. You just said Captain has sex with a lizard, kinda, and I was very intrigued. Right. Very intrigued by what that meant. Right. The kinda was the key word.
In a roundabout sort of way, Janeway did have sex with a lizard, more or less. But before we get to talking about the episode, like I said, I wanted comedians on that aren't super duper familiar with Star Trek. So before this, Joe, what was your exposure to Star Trek before all this?
So I was in a D&D group, and we would play constantly, and one guy was very much into Star Trek, Stephen Vincent Giles, and he kind of convinced the rest of the group to watch it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, you know what? I'll watch all the Star Trek. I'll do it. And I started watching, and I watched this because I told Steven that I really liked the Orville, which I enjoyed watching Orville. And he goes, you should watch the show that it's just stealing from constantly. And I go, okay. So I watched Star Trek Next Generation. I was like, oh man, this is stealing from the Orville, this show. I watched a couple seasons, and then I just kind of started falling asleep while I was watching it. And then I have all my faves, all the Star Trek shows that have ever existed in my faves on Netflix. And I'm not gonna get to them. It's not gonna happen.
Just being honest.
I like Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've seen all the new Star Trek movies, and I've seen the Orville, and a little bit of the Next Generation is really all I've got. So I've got everything that's like what you guys hate.
Well, no, not at all. I mean,
Orville. I guess Orville. Everyone really likes Orville.
I'm not a huge fan of Orville.
Yeah, Andy and I are opposite there. I actually love the Orville.
Nice. It's I like that it's not funny that much.
Exactly. Which is why I started kind of giving up on it. I'm just like,
I would say this episode
good.
you made me watch tries to attempt comedy more than the Orville, and it doesn't make it better.
Well, unfortunately, I started you off with my least favorite series, which is Voyager. I mean, I've finished it, which is more than I can say for Next Generation with you. But
is Voyager supposed to be the worst one?
It's highly debatable.
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to. Some people like it the best.
Some people like it the best. Are they idiots? What are they watching? Listen, if you listen to this podcast, you think Voyager is the best. I got 2 words for you. I don't agree.
You can't judge the entire series on Threshold.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, you could probably judge a lot of Star Trek by Threshold, but
there's a lot of context clues I got for what the season's about. But it's the second season, so when we start the episode, I'm going to ask questions about it because I'm very confused by a lot of the characters.
Yeah, dude,
especially like ranks. I don't know people's ranks in this.
One of them is a very important because he's like known in the Star Trek universe for like constantly never getting a promotion, but he was like a series regular.
Gotcha.
But, okay, I'm just going to read the quick Memory Alpha quick synopsis of Threshold. A specially outfitted warp-capable shuttlecraft piloted by Tom Paris successfully reaches Warp 10, breaking the trans-warp barrier. But the side effects of breaking the barrier may cost the crew of Voyager their best helmsman. And I want to start off by saying, I think this episode breaks the record for saying the name of the episode in it the most times.
I didn't even notice that. That's crazy.
They say
but
it
it
like
makes
20
sense now you say that. Yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes, they say Threshold 4 times.
Yeah, I never even put that together, but you're right. They do. They're doing a little. You know, I feel like every episode of Star Trek that starts, and again, I've watched few. This is how I've known. Is you always know it's the holodeck. You always know they're in the holodeck when something crazy is happening.
For the most part, yeah, I could see that. But the original series didn't have a holodeck.
Yeah, that's why it's garbage. The holodeck.
Man, you are not making any fans tonight, Joe.
No.
Boy, you're stupid for watching Voyager. TOS is garbage. I only watched the first 3 seasons, which is the worst seasons of Next Generation.
Chris Pine's the best captain.
Wow, Joe.
I'm coming in hot.
Takes early on.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question about this episode, or
Please
just
do.
one thing that bothers me? Thomas Eugene Paris.
Whoa, research.
They say his full name in it. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Thomas Eugene Paris. What is his job?
He's the helmsman. He's the pilot.
Oh, he's like what Data was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For a little background, Tom Paris used to be part of the Maquis, right, Mike? Is my memory correct?
Well, yeah, I think.
okay. The Maquis were like these resistance fighters that were like basically wanted to like keep their planets, but kind of wanted to keep the Federation out. So
Gotcha.
he's kind of he's one of the ragtag bunch that joins the Voyager.
He's like the rebels, but the Empire is good.
So Voyager was sent to hunt down a Maquis ship, and Tom Paris was he was in like Federation prison because he had helped the Maquis, and Janeway got him out of prison to help her track down this Maquis ship. Then in the process, they all ended up in the Delta Quadrant, 70,000 light years from Earth, and had to work together to make their way home.
I hate Thomas Eugene Paris. I hate this character. I hate everything about him. I hate the way he talks. I hate his comedy chops. I liked him best at the end when he wasn't a human no more. That was my best Thomas Eugene Paris. Is he the one? There's a part in the show where a guy talks to a guy named Reddick. And is that Thomas Eugene Paris talking to him?
No, that's not him. It
looks just like the guy. I was very confused.
That is a traitorous spy.
Okay.
Yeah.
His arc wasn't great in this episode. It was fine.
It was very brief, but yeah, that was part of the season arc that they had like a little spy aboard that was giving information to the enemy.
Gotcha. Because I didn't like that guy either.
At this point in Voyager, one of the main races is called the Kazon. They look like Klingons that haven't washed their hair.
Enemies ever.
And
it's basically like tall, flat dreads.
It looked like they were chimney sweeps.
Yeah. And throughout this season, there's a character, one of the crew members on Voyager, who's like leaking information to the Kazon, and that was one of the little scenes that they're dropped kind of throughout episodes. Didn't really have anything to do with the rest of the episode. It was just kind of a part of the season story.
Does this episode have any lasting effect throughout the season or throughout the series?
No, that's one of the greatest things about this weird ass episode is that they never mention the lizard babies ever again.
They just let did they let the lizard babies? Okay, so at the end of the episode, people, I'm assuming everyone listening has watched every episode.
Okay, basically spoiler alert for a 30-year-old show.
But I guess I'm just saying, like, you probably know what they're talking about if you're listening to this episode. You don't need to be recapped on Threshold.
Right.
Did they just leave the lizard babies, or was there like? So I thought for a second that they just kind of said something about it and they just burned them.
No,
I thought it was like, and I know you guys are big Star Wars fans more than Star Trek. I felt it was like. In the best episode of Star Wars where Anakin killed the younglings, I thought they were just slice and dicing genocide of the future of the future species. I thought they killed them because you can't just let those out there.
It's what was funny is that it was covered in like the second in command Chakotay, the guy with the face tattoo.
Yeah, I don't like him. It's like the worst actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Chakotay. His
agreed.
Is he supposed to be the beard guy in Next Generation?
Riker, yeah.
Riker,
yeah,
is he supposed to be Riker?
Yeah.
It's like it's like they chiseled Riker out of stone, and the only thing that stayed was the acting of the stone. We will find them. Okay. It's like you just make him a Klingon and make it work. Like, what is this?
Right.
My species just kind of has a little tattoo right here. We're fucking nuts.
Whatever is his whole lineage in like a couple other episodes, and it's just the dumbest thing. But yeah, Chakotay has a line like right near the end of the episode before they go into sickbay and show Janeway and Paris as human again. He was like, "I decided to leave the offspring back on the planet."
Oh,
and that was it. He didn't give like a reason why or anything. He's just like, I just left them.
So he made the choice for them.
Right.
Those were their children.
It is.
Janeway's body is Janeway's choice, you know?
What if the doctor could have done the same process to make those into human kids?
They could have had triplets.
The doctor's a robot, right?
Yes, a
The
hologram.
Wait, what?
An EMH. Yeah, it was they actually covered it here. I'm going to give you another little background thing. They actually started developing that during Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where the actual physical human version of that doctor came to start doing research about making this program.
Gotcha. That's a very strange thing, but he is the only character I liked of anyone.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's like my one of the few redeeming factors of Voyager for me.
But everyone else is atrocious in this. But yeah, he makes a couple jokes. They're very dry. I enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
So that makes more sense. I thought he was a robot, and I was confused by the jokes he was making. Because I was like, if you're a robot, you wouldn't have this sense of humor. Because it's like really dark and like. So okay, that makes more sense. All right.
Basically, like a super advanced holodeck character.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense why he could be the guest, but he can somehow touch people.
Well, yeah, just like in the holodeck, how you can interact
gotcha.
with items and people. The sick bay has hollow emitters, so that he can be projected and do operations and whatever.
Okay.
And again, had you kept going in Next Generation, this would have been covered, Joe.
So bad. So sorry about that. But then if I kept going on it, you wouldn't have me on the podcast because I would just know more than you guys.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Then next question. I'm going to ask questions here because I'm very.
Oh no, please do.
So Kim.
Hey, yes.
Is he a helmsman?
He is an ensign, and he is what is his job there, Mike?
He is like a science officer. He is okay. So I know how you said like Data was like the pilot, but Data is actually the science officer on the Enterprise. So
He
Harry
happened to
Kim
drive the ship a lot.
Yeah,
Data
Harry
does a lot of
Kim is
stuff.
sort of like that. Also, he's like the science officer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So why was he able to fly it more than Thomas Eugene Prince? Big crier, big wow baby. Call the wambulance. It's okay to cry in my room when I'm alone. Ugh, God, I wish I died.
I always thought that was the weirdest thing. One of some of his best memories as a kid was crying in his room alone. It's like,
And they never bring it back up. He never cries later. He just says this weird thing about crying, and then that's it.
They never bring it up in the rest of the series either.
no.
Is his dad a big deal at any point in the show?
Kinda, but not.
He's
not a really big deal. But he
not visually. They talk about him though.
Yeah,
Is his dad's name Thomas Eugene King?
Wait, his last name's Paris, Joe. That joke doesn't work.
Yeah, that makes Thomas Eugene France.
good save.
That works better. Good save.
And these are the moments you get when someone doesn't know what he's talking about here on this podcast.
Which is why.
Why could Kim fly the shuttle and not that guy?
So you're talking about like why the captain was going to let Harry Kim fly instead of
Yeah,
Tom?
because he said he'd have a 2% chance.
Well, because he had a heart defect.
Brain defect.
Oh,
And because of the risk of that being a problem in this experimental flight, she was going to let Harry do it instead.
okay. I didn't hear that part. I was just wondering because I was like, is Kim not a human? Is Kim somebody else?
Were you even watching the episode, or were you just like scribbling down bad jokes about character names that don't even exist?
I did well, yeah. You know what, Mike? I don't need this sass. All right. If this is what your Star Trek you guys loved, I could write this stuff.
All right, I'll switch back to my regular character.
Oh no, I hate it more.
We lost him. We lost him.
I thought this was the stupidest line in the whole thing, outside the crying thing, was when that guy was like couldn't breathe and stuff. The one person goes to the doctor and goes, "What's happening?" He goes, "I have no idea. I'm assuming it's the warp 10." It's like, yeah, it's the warp 10 thing. It's not assuming. It is definitely the thing he just did.
The life-threatening thing
where he disappeared and came back after seeing everything in the entire universe. Yeah, that might do something to you. I don't know.
I heard you were looking for me, so I came back.
Yeah, that was weird. Also, they don't turn into it looks like in 25 million years, when we evolve even further, we turn into a catfish that can't
with
talk,
legs,
that can't communicate, that flops around, easily defeated by a photon, easily, like a little laser.
They got stunned pretty quick.
Yeah, there's like literally they're writing in the sand with sticks, and it's like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, we're really evolving in the right direction, idiots. Just every time someone evolves, they should turn in the light. That's the best thing you can do. Just turn in the essence, not a catfish. Like, ugh.
The one thing that I thought about was that, like, I think it's hilarious that Chakotay just left those 3 babies on the planet. So now there's some random planet. We're not sure exactly where it is, but there's 3 super evolved humans on a planet now.
Yeah, but you don't want to mess with them, because when they grow up, they're gonna grab sticks in their mouths and write in the sand some stuff. That's not even. I thought they were gonna come up and see in the sand like all these designs and everything, but no,
right.
They just looked up and their first instinct was shoot. This species they've never seen before. They're not supposed to mess with other like people's territories or whatever. Pew pew. I hope it's them. It's them. All right, let's bring them back. They have kids? Don't worry about it. What? Everyone should be
Which
fired.
was the captain, the female one?
They should all be fired except another character I hate. This character I hate second most. And this is the one that shouldn't be fired, is the guy who makes coffee.
Neelix.
I hate Neelix.
Oh, correct.
Everybody does.
Hillbilly redneck guy who they all talk down to. And they all talk down to him. And he's like, well, here's the actual answer. And like, you're pathetic. You know, I hope you die. Your coffee tastes like shit. Oh, okay.
Wait,
like,
what was the coffee that he named after Paris? Like the Paris blend or something?
Oh, yeah. Princely Paris.
It's the Prince of Coffee.
Yeah, the Paris blend. It wasn't even like, Paris to the max. It wasn't even like a fun. It was dumb.
Like something you could order like the Peach Pit or something.
Yeah. And because at Warp 10 you're everywhere at all times, the Paris blend should be him throwing coffee in your face.
Dodge this, superhuman.
Yeah. Another thing. Well, my girlfriend watched like the first 10 minutes and then had to leave.
Oh, poor Katie.
She goes, "This is just conversations." Yeah, I just realized, I was like, yeah, that's all Star Trek is. They just talk.
Welcome to a lot of the mid-90s Star Treks.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I was wondering, I was like, did Star Trek Next Generations like this? I was like, no, this is just dialogue. I don't know why you would write that much dialogue, and it's all nonsense words.
Oh, I was going to ask you about the techno babble. Like
the techno babble. Here's a question: do Star Trek fans think they're this might be hitting a nose? So, The Big Bang Theory was a very popular show,
yes,
and people who watched it enjoyed it and felt they were smart because they would say things like Pythagorean theorem. And they'd be like, I know that I'm smart. I'm watching a smart show. And I feel like that's how people's minds worked when they watched The Big Bang Theory, even though it was like fine. It's fine as a sitcom. It wasn't very smart, but it was fine. Do Star Trek fans feel smart because you hear a bunch of made up words and that makes you feel okay? No, it's more judgmental that somebody else wouldn't understand the technobabble and you do.
It makes us feel a little bit better when we can actually remember what some of the technobabble was. Because like I was able to actually remember that word.
Okay, that's what it is.
Well,
all right.
which is-
I was
which
wondering
is-
if like that's like a fan thing where you're like, oh, all these like engineering words that aren't even real words.
No,
Oh,
but see,
yeah.
the great thing is that with the newest series, Star Trek Discovery, Tig Notaro joined the cast in the second season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she has said in multiple interviews that like she actually has to have somebody with the script right off camera to like feed her all like the technobabble. She was like, yeah, I may be on Star Trek, but I don't know any of this crap.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. And I imagine when Star Trek fans saw that interview, they were like, "Well, I should be that role now."
Oh no, it's great because right now like the main quintessential Star Trek podcast that's like sanctioned by Paramount and CBS, Star Trek: The Pod Directive, which is hosted by Tawny Newsome and Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's great because both of them are huge Trekkies. Like I didn't know that. And then when they had like Tig Notaro on, it was great because Paul F. Tompkins and Tig are both like old friends and stuff. So she was really opening up about like
That's great.
how it freaks her out to be on Star Trek. And she was like, yeah, you're gonna have to like tutor me in some of this Star Trek stuff because I don't know.
That's perfect. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I heard Discovery is like more action packed than it is conversations.
Yeah, Discovery is definitely one of those series where if like somebody hasn't watched Star Trek before and they're into the more like modern stuff, like the Marvel movies or like the Star Wars movies and stuff like that, that would be where I would start a lot of people off with. There's definitely a lot of Easter eggs pointing to like the original series, but beyond that, like you don't have to know a ton about Star Trek going into Discovery.
Gotcha.
Because it's like it's like a prequel series. So.
Gotcha. Okay. And the writer, this is a tangent now that I'm thinking about. Do you remember the line he says when he's like turning into a mutant or whatever? Or I tell you, the writer probably thought he was very smart when he wrote it. And he was like, this is poignant and this is going to sound really cool. And he says, the present and past are the future and the future is the past. Makes no sense for what happens in that episode at all. There is no time dilution thing. He's all space, not time.
That's something you say like in the middle of like a cocaine bender.
Yeah, it seems like he was a little bit on one. He was in the part of evolution where humans do a lot of coke. When he starts yelling at the captain, who is doing like 5 different voices when she's talking to him. She's got like 5 accents she keeps going in and out of, and I don't understand it.
It's a mix between like a weird like New England accent and then like a weird kind of like I lived in England when I was 8 kind of thing.
Yeah. I would say it's like, which is kind of an oxymoron, like fancy Scottish.
Okay, I can see that.
Like a Scottish science, like more. If I had to pick an accent for Moira McTaggart from X-Men, yeah, nerds. I know some other stuff. Okay, yeah, I just don't know Star Trek as much, but some other things I do know. Okay, if she goes into Moira McTaggart, and I'm pronouncing it right, so you're so welcome. And goes into it and then goes out of it. Then is like not talking like that. Then she's okay with having kids, and they're very calm and collected about the conversation that they had children together.
Right, and had sex in order to do that.
And were catfish lizards. They're very like, well, that we evolved 25 million years in a day.
That was a
pretty
thing we
crazy.
did.
Anyways, let's figure out who this Reddick guy is. That's way more important. The Kazons.
Oh my god.
That is crazy. And so that's okay. That's what I want. There's no. It doesn't lead to anything.
No.
Do they ever hook up again? Do they ever like a love?
No, this is an absolute throwaway episode. Like nothing from this episode. I think they realized what they had with Threshold, and they were like, let's just never mention that again.
No, they mention it in Lower Decks.
Oh, okay. Which is the Lower Decks is the new animated series by Mike McMahon that worked on like Rick and Morty and what's his series on Hulu that he has?
Oh, Solar Opposites.
Solar Opposites, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a great voice cast too. Tawny Newsome is the main character, and a bunch of random comedians. Paul F. Tompkins actually showed up as a bird psychiatrist.
That's pretty good. I overall give Threshold 5 out of 5 stars. It is
Really?
Peak Star Trek. I only seen a few episodes.
Well, you saw like one of the seasons of TNG that was like during like the writer's strike too.
Oh, really? So I will say this, that my favorite episode of Star Trek I've ever seen is the one where Picard goes back to France and like fights with his brother at the vineyard. I'm like, this is good television.
So you got pretty far into TNG then, because that's like 4th season.
Oh, then I got like halfway through the 4th season is where I got, because the last thing I remember seeing is my favorite Star Trek character. I think his name is Brantley.
Barclay, yeah, the guy who gets really smart because an alien takes over his body and he's like addicted to the holodeck. And yeah, no, that guy's great. I love Barclay. Oh no, he's definitely a fan favorite, and he comes up a few more times later on. It's just like, hey, I'm kind of smart. I need to get confident. Okay, I'm gonna get all of it. And then it's gonna go away. Oh, also I'm gonna lie a whole bunch. Oh yeah, a lot of lies. Oh no, we should fire this guy because he's really causing us a lot of pain, and he definitely wants to kill Twa or do something with her. Troy. Wait, who?
Troy. Who's
Troy.
Troy.
Counselor Troy. Deanna Troy.
Sorry, I'm still stuck in the French episode. Okay, this captain is Captain Jane Eyre? What's her name?
Janeway. Catherine
Janeway. Now, is she like one of the best captains?
Yes.
Like, are they lost?
Yeah, they were actually sucked through a wormhole and basically put on the complete opposite side of the universe, and they don't have so now they can't communicate with Starfleet headquarters to let them know that they're lost.
Gotcha. So is that the season arc or the series arc?
Oh, that's the series arc. Is them just trying to get home constantly.
That makes sense. So Captain Janeway as an actual captain, regardless of whether it's like fun to watch, is like one of the best captains.
She's up there. Yeah. She definitely has her hardcore fans. She also has her hardcore detractors, but it's again with Star Trek, like somebody's favorite is going to be someone's least favorite and vice versa. So
not Barclay, everyone's favorite.
Undebatable.
Because I feel like Shatner is technically the worst captain.
Oh,
like I'm not even talking about like enjoying like the acting or like what they do. I just mean as a captain, like doing captain things. Yeah, I feel like Picard is like the best captain you're ever gonna have. If you're picking a captain for your ship, Picard's the pick. The guy on Star Trek Enterprise, I feel like Shatner level bad.
No, he was Bakula, Scott Bakula, the actor. Yeah, but he was Captain Archer. He had to be kind of an innovator because on Enterprise they were like the first starship to go out there in space. So he was kind of learning. He was kind of learning on the
That's
spot.
In the past before Next Generation.
It takes place 100 years before Captain Kirk.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like the first ever Star Trek.
Yeah.
And in the timeline.
Yeah. Chronologically.
Yeah.
So now I get why that guy said the future is the past and the present. Because Enterprise is next, and that's the past, but it's the future. Totally get it, Thomas Eugene Harris. I totally understand now. You're really. Oh, another thing that very much bothered me is when he tells him he has two hearts.
Yeah.
And they show the screen. It's not that the screen is like necessarily bad graphics. I just don't get how the system works because it's very cartoony.
Yes.
And it can't be what's actually happening because it's too animated. It's like you're taking real life photos and then putting a cartoon filter and they're moving like way too much for how hard.
It's a whole like Instagram filter in sickbay there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't even know how a doctor would learn anything from looking at that thing. Because the lungs are covering most of you can't even see all the organs. You just see lungs, and luckily the two hearts are in between,
squished together,
like a couple of testes, just beating. It doesn't make any sense.
Because it's a cartoon, and then that's why all the instruments that he has are like big rubber mallets and just sticks of generic dynamite.
Yeah, I also like that. This bothers me with sci-fi shows, is they have like the touchscreen thing, but none of the buttons change. So then it shouldn't really be touchscreen, because it should just change as you touch things, I would assume. But it's like this area is highlighted yellow and red. There should be buttons they're actually pushing in, instead of just weird touch smudge thing.
A lot of that was budgetary, though.
I don't care.
So judgmental, Joe. God. Which actually on Discovery they kind of rectify that, but it's a thing that a bunch of like the weird gatekeeping nerds are super mad about, because like, why do they have better technology on something that's supposed to take place before the original series? Because they have Paramount money right now. Yeah,
don't tell those people to watch the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, because that doesn't make any sense. I like Star Wars a whole bunch, but not enough to know. I wouldn't do a podcast. I wouldn't start a Star Wars band.
There is one.
Only a fool
in town.
start a Star Wars.
There's another Star Wars band in town. There's a famous Star Trek band, probably been on StarTrek.com twice, which is crazy. And there's a Star Wars band who I guess has not been on StarWars.com twice.
They've been on StarWars.com once.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, some guy says that some guy came and did some like little mini documentary about them.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do
they were hot shit?
Oh my God. Look, I don't want to be your agent or your manager, but Battle of the Bands.
We've done it.
Multiple
times.
The future is the past. The present and past are the future. I'm going to be a catfish soon.
That's one of the things I'm waiting for now. Someone needs to Photoshop Joe as a catfish.
Goddamn catfish. It's so stupid. And it's so the other thing is, you told me that Captain Jane Eyre, she has sex with a lizard, kinda, and I start watching the show, and that doesn't happen till the last 10 minutes.
Right.
So the whole time I'm like,
when's the
lizard gonna show up? and then that's what I was gonna. It's like, is Thomas Eugene the captain? Then I was like, oh, here's what happened. He went in Warp 10, traveled everywhere, and just accidentally became a lizard body, got impregnated by a lizard. He's going to have a lizard baby, but that's not that really, I got to say, telling me what's going to happen in the episode only helped that episode. Because if that didn't happen, if you didn't tell me that, I think I would be like, this is very boring. Oh, yeah. I get it. They're going to fix him. But then the idea of fornicating a lizard.
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
Well,
I don't know how those things have sex. They can't even move. They're like sloths. They're like sloth fish.
One of them like, gets on their back. They're not going to be able to get back up like a turtle.
Yeah, it's a very stupid design. Luckily, I'll be dead before 25 million years from now.
These super evolved humans are poorly designed.
25 million years plus whatever the distance between now and Star Trek Voyager is. So those two numbers combined. Now, I would say that the years between here and there are meaningless compared to 25 million, but I work in numbers and I want to be exact.
It would be about 25,250 years.
There you go.
So I guess we could be flying around space in 50 years. We're already making a space hotel.
Yeah, because Voyager takes place between the years 2371 and 2378.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Be pretty cool to be in space. Do people in Star Trek do they live to like, what's the lifespan for Star Trek people later on? Is it like still 80 years, 90 years, or do they live?
No,
Humans typically live around like 100 to 110 or so in Star Trek, if they don't, die.
I gotta
good one, Mike.
I gotta be honest. This is great. I love being able to ask two people that know whatever question I'm gonna ask. Like the fact that you know the lifespan of humans in Star Trek. Like boom, yeah. Oh no, totally.
Well, because Bones from the original series shows up on Star Trek Next Generation. He's like what, like 112 when he shows up on the Enterprise.
Something like that.
He's all grizzled with the beard and everything, and all talking to Data. You're one of them androids, ain't you?
Now, I don't know how to ask this without sounding too weird. But
Too late.
Vulcans on Star Trek Voyager, is he a half?
No, he is full Vulcan.
He's full.
So Vulcans aren't all just white guys then.
No,
Apparently
no.
not.
That's true. Well, that's why I'm asking, because I didn't know, because Vulcans seem to be very much like we're the superior race, and that always really gives off white supremacy vibes.
Well, as Spurgeon would say, they are a master race.
Oh yeah, the other guy in our band actually referred to Vulcans as the master race in an episode. And he goes, "Wait, no." And so I bring it up as often as I possibly can to him.
Very,
now.
very strange for you to say that when you're not a Vulcan too. Like the definition of bootlicking.
I just really respect the Vulcans.
The conversation that we were having was, what alien race would we want to be?
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to be Klingon because nothing seems good about that. Because you eat trash, you drink fire or whatever they do. I don't know. It seems
Drink fire.
the empath.
Blood
You would
wine.
think the empath person, whatever
Troy.
Helena Troy is,
He's
Twa.
a betazoid.
Helena Twa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like that would get to you eventually.
Oh yeah, you'd like being a therapist. You would need a therapist, basically.
Yeah, I think whatever Data is what I'd want to be.
Android
Yeah, dude, he's pretty cool.
or his brother.
No,
Lore.
not what was his brother's name? A Tad.
Or Ted. Yes, Ted.
A Tad. Data
a
backwards,
Tad.
baby.
God damn it, Joe. Did you just do the hang loose on that for that
Yeah,
one?
dude,
That didn't
swish.
deserve it. So, no basketball references. This is a Star Trek podcast.
Touchdown. I tell you what, that episode gave me March Madness.
Oh, perfect. Since we just reopened the city for March Madness in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, there's nothing I want more during global pandemic than a bunch of college kids.
Storming the downtown.
I'm excited to get my bracket busted because some team's backup small forward went to the tin roof without a mask on. Are you the singer, Andy, for the 5-year mission?
On 3 songs, yes, out of the 80 that we're going to be doing.
Mike, are you the drummer?
Sometimes.
Joe. Good Lord, Mike sometimes wishes he was the drummer, but he can't play.
I just want to get under Mike in your skin. This is a little part of the show that I call Joe Time.
I hate Joe Time.
Yeah, most people do.
Joe Time's awful.
But yeah, I don't think the episode was good.
No, you're pretty much in the majority opinion with that one, though, amongst everybody. So
Yeah, I think it's tough. Now here's a question: do you think this episode has entertainment value?
oh,
Like,
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you think it's so bad it's good?
Yes.
So
This-
in my opinion, every episode of Star Trek it's entertaining no matter how bad it is. Some of them are so bad that they are fun to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Is like there are episodes that are bad, and it's just not even fun to be watching what you're watching. It's just like this is bad. It's like boring. It's dull. But this one at least isn't boring, and I feel like I feel like the Doctor is the MVP of the whole episode.
Mhm.
And without him, I really would not have liked it because
Tom Paris?
Thomas Paris, Tommy P, and
The Prince of Voyager.
and Captain Jane Eyre. I just feel like their chemistry is atrocious and just like really bad. And that final scene is one of the worst final scenes of any. I haven't seen a lot, but any Star Trek I've ever seen where they're like, I want to have kids. Anyways, who knows? I'm going to give you a promotion, even though you again almost. Well, I guess he didn't get anybody killed. He just almost died himself.
Did
you ever try Warp 10 again?
No.
You don't even. They never mention it again.
No, like most things that happen in this episode, they don't mention it again.
So, yeah, well, I know we're near an end here, but that doesn't. The guy can see everything in the universe at once and doesn't think, hey, maybe I should tell the Star Trek CEO, the CEO of Star Trek, that hey, we're lost and it's pretty crazy over there, but we're alive. Help us.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't even think about that. Like, if he can be everywhere at once, why didn't he go back to the Alpha Quadrant and be like, "Hey, come find us, you schmucks"?
Because Jane was like, "Oh, plain Jane." She just goes, "Hey, where is he?" And he's like, "I heard that."
I heard that.
He doesn't want to go see his dad. He didn't want to do any of this stuff. He's like, I gotta end this real quick to go do that. Like someone should sacrifice themselves to go. They know how to do it. They know how to get there. They have a way home, and they just don't give a shit. Now they know how to cure it. I'm so upset. I'm just realizing all of this. I'm so upset right now. They know how to do it. They know how to cure it, and they never do it again.
Oh man. Yeah. One thing I should have mentioned to you, like one of the other episodes I thought about giving you because it added kind of a more like Star Trek quandary, was another episode of Voyager, which combined two of what you've mentioned to be your favorite characters, like literally combines them in a transporter accident. Tuvix, the Vulcan, and then Neelix, the coffee guy, they get melded together in a transporter accident, and then Janeway has to figure out what to do about it, and basically it's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
Gee, I assume she would say that she was gonna cut them in half, and whoever says no,
like a whole like a biblical story.
Yeah, and whoever says no to that is the true mom.
Because if Star Trek isn't anything, they're the big purveyors of the Old Testament.
yeah, dude. Totally. The Kazons are the Egyptians.
Ooh.
I think, I don't know.
But wait, who did they get to build the pyramids then?
The guy on the ship that's a traitor.
Okay, all right.
He did a real slow job at it.
That was his penance.
He was like, "You like this though? You like this? Oh, no, wait, you know." I hate when characters are so desperate to be liked, and then the other guy's like, "Yeah, he's doing a lot for me, but I don't care." And he's like, "Well, I'll try harder." And it's like, "Oh God, kill them, just kill them,
just be done with them."
Yeah.
Speaking of being done with it.
Yeah, sorry, I go on tangents.
See, that's the segue for the ending of the show, Joe.
Dude, you're killing it right now.
I know,
it wasn't
right?
abruptly. I think this is real smooth. This is natural. This is Rob Thomas, Carlos Santana. This is exactly what we need.
Just like the ocean under the moon.
Yeah, dude. The future is the past and present are the future. You know it. That's what I'm gonna say when I get engaged.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna look her right in the eyes and be like, "Look, our past, our presents, they're the future, and our future is the past. I'm a catfish."
Hey, do you miss getting new content from 5 Year Mission?
you should head over to patreon.com/5yearmission and check out our Patreon page. As a patron of the band, you will receive access to rare and behind-the-scenes pictures and videos and other cool stuff. You will also have early access to many things, like video releases or new songs. You can sign up for different levels, from ensign all the way up to admiral. One of the perks of being an admiral on 5 Year Mission's Patreon is that you get to be a producer on this podcast. Currently, our producers are Neil Carpenter, Helen Lake, Debbie Rinke, Carol Jones, Becky and Roxy, Steve and Frankie Palopoli, Madison Rachel Jones, and Jim Morehouse. Your name could be on this list if you sign up as an admiral. So head over to patreon.com/5yearmission now. That's the number 5 Year Mission.
Hey, would you look at that? It's another ad for Fansets.com. That's right, Fansets.com. They sponsor every single show on the Trek Geeks Network. This month, you can get brand new releases from DC Comics, including the original Batman. That's Adam West and Burt Ward and all that. Cesar Romero, all those classic 60s Batman series. Also new in the world of Star Trek, you have parts 1 and 2 of Picard for the episode Into Arcadia Ego. And also the Women of Trek series continues with Burnham from Discovery and also Soji from Picard. And the Women of Trek series is beautiful. Everything has like a nice glittery background, and it's gonna look so good in a display case, on your jacket, on your vest, shirt. Put them through your ears. I don't really care. I don't know what you're gonna do with these. Also, don't forget about those fan danglers. Just because I love saying fan danglers. I forgot to order some. That's what I meant to do this week. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go order some right now. And what I'm gonna do is at checkout, I'm gonna enter the discount code 5Year Mission. That is the number 5 and then all caps Year Mission, 5Year Mission. I'm gonna get 10% off my entire order, and so can you. Fansets. Our pins have character, and we thank them for sponsoring 5Year Mission, the podcast. Joe, where can people find you online if they want to find you doing things?
Oh my gosh. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Bates Comedy. Or you can just send me a friend request on Facebook, Joe Bates. I go in Twitter spurts. I do Instagram story now where if you like gambling, I do best bets.
You've been doing a lot of those.
If you picked every one of my bets so far, you would be up. So I did the math today. I do stupid little shows, and I do stand up and everything. So, and check out Entertainment Federation Wrestling that Andy mentioned. That's a really good podcast. It's on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all that stuff. It's just the best. It's a fake wrestling promotion. It's all characters. It's all very well produced by Kel Forbes.
Really is.
So it sounds like you're actually at a wrestling ring. We have a tag team. It's a father-son tag team, but the dad never shows up.
So good.
Yeah, I love that so much. And if you like stand-up comedy, I have an album that came out in January called Joe Bates by Joe Bates. It went number 1 on iTunes, which the trick is you don't really need to sell that many to do that.
It's true.
You can game the system. It's pretty easy. But I didn't game it. It was bought by people who liked it.
Yes.
So I would check it out. It's a very strange and weird album. And I'm headlining the Comedy Attic March 26th and 27th, co-headlining with Alex Price.
And then yet another guy I'm thinking about getting on this podcast, considering it'll really piss off his roommate. Alex actually would be really good on this. He would be good on the show. So yeah, if you're in Bloomington, Indiana, March 26th and 27th, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Bloomington, Indiana, the Comedy Attic. That's a great room too.
Yeah, tickets surprisingly still available.
Ooh, during a pandemic?
Yeah.
Well, Joe, it was great having you on. I'm glad you could be our first comedian guest. And we'll start
when you run out of comics, I'll come back and I'll do the
circle back around. We'll have you watch the pregnant Florida Man next time around. Stick your hands in a bowl and get pregnant.
Yeah, we'll just do Threshold again.
Just revisit Threshold.
Yeah, revisit. Well, I think
upon second viewing, is it any better? No. Oh, it's great having you, Joe.
But thanks again, man. This is really cool. It's always fun to talk about stuff I don't really know much about, and you guys are super smart about it. So, and Star Trek fans, you guys are great. I love Picard. He's my favorite. I totally get it. They steal a lot of things from Orville, but that's okay. That's fine.
All right, we're out of here, kids. Join us next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Toodles.
I sure want to leave. I sure want to leave.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 5 Year Mission, the podcast. If any of you are interested in listening to more of our music, you can check us out on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or pretty much anywhere that you can listen to music. Just search for 5 Year Mission and we should be the first thing that comes up. If you would like to contact us in regards to the podcast or anything else that you want to talk to us about, you can email us at 5yearmissionband@gmail.com.
And for more information about the band, you can go to 5yearmission.net. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
5 Year Mission, the podcast, is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.